What's up, everybody? This is Erica from the Classy Climb blog, coming to you guys today, talking about if your parents are poor, you will be poor. Listen, this is not a feeling, this is not a if, this is the numbers. 70% of Americans, if they are born into a lower income family or a poor family, will be there, will stay there their whole life. Go up and down a little bit, but stay there. 4% will make it to wealthy. 26% will kind of rise up to middle or upper middle class. But that's the point. 70% of people who go from dirt poor to filthy rich doesn't happen. You just stay dirt poor. And I'm doing this video because I read a book and it talked about how all these poor women thought when the social worker said, why? Why did you have another baby? Why did you add children? You're already poor. And we're giving you this food, this housing. Why would you do that? Well, I know I can be a good mother. No, sorry, it's not being a good mother when you can't provide resources for that child to get ahead, to get tutoring. That's the majority of problems in school right now, is the kids who need tutoring, who need reading and writing, they're basing the number of prisons they build right now off of how many third and fourth grade Black boys, Latino boys, and white boys can't read or write at that grade level. Think about that. There are companies who study schools to see the test scores to know if they need to build more prisons. That's a sign. If you don't have money for your kids to go do tutoring and after school projects, you're poor. You probably didn't need to have them. Again, we have all these conversations of, you can break out of the middle class and you can be a millionaire and you can be so wealthy. But look, let's do the age. Let's do age here real quick. There's a book I love reading called The 10-Year Turnaround. There's other books I like, The 4-Year Career, a few other ones that I strongly suggest if you watch this channel, you pick them up, because most people think, well, it'll work itself out. In 10 years, I'm working hard, I'm working these double jobs, I'm making all this money, it'll just work itself out. That's actually untrue. The numbers prove it. If people you meet in their 40s and 50s, if their mom and dad goes down today, they have to put them at home, or they have to sell off their house, they have to sell off their cars, they have to sell off everything just to take care of that parent. That is what we're having right now. We're having people who college-age children are coming back home to live with them instead of mom and dad being able to just afford to give you a down payment or deposit on a home or deposit on an apartment, and you go on and live your life because you got a little help, to the kids living home, and mom, grandma, and grandpa might have to live here too because we can't afford to send them anywhere. We can't afford to send you anywhere, and we're all working. That's just the truth. It's just the truth. And every time I read that book, it made me so frustrated because they would talk about the different families, and they had, some common traits. Something would happen to the mom, or the family would be working really hard and somebody had a stroke or a heart attack and never recovered. And so they stayed poor for the rest of the book. I mean, it was like a really sad book, but it was the truth. It's what really happened. So of those who at least move into the middle class out of these poor families, 53% were college grads. 50% had two-income families, right? They got married. They married somebody. 35% were white, okay? 34% did not experience unemployment. So the numbers were, they got educated, and for them to be considered wealthy, they were like $94,000, right? So I'm looking over the thing, but it's like, that's just the numbers. These people having these children and thinking it will just work itself out while you work at Starbucks in the daytime and your husband works at UPS at night, unless he's one of the UPS drivers making 80 grand a year. Nah, even the truck driver who makes 80 grand a year has a better potential to make sure his kids have a life, his kids go to college, his kids go get a trade and go get their own jobs, than the guy and girl making 30, 40 grand a year. Sorry. So let's talk about the numbers and ages, right? So I love the book 5 to 10 Year Turnaround. And really, honestly, if you're really honest with people, in 10 years, a lot of people could be multimillionaires. But it takes a lot of focus, okay? That's why we have a lot of immigrants come here and go, whoa, land of opportunity, okay? 18 to 25. This is a really important range. If you study people's lives, you see what mistakes they made, where they got off track. You ever talk to HR representatives, they'll look at people's resumes and say from 18 to 25, wherever they are there in those years, they stay there. So a lot of times what happens 18 to 25 is kids come out of high school and all they did was focus on sports and music. So now they're at college, they're like, I don't even know what to do. I don't even know what the job I want looks like. I have no clue what I'm doing. And so they stay there and they stay there those average 5 years, 6 years. Some people drop out because they're just wasting money. Now they're 20, 30 grand in debt, 18 to 25. Now, I remember going to school and there were girls who were working while taking classes, and they bought a duplex. They had enough money between the financial aid and their checks from work to buy a duplex and rent that duplex out, finish college, move to the next city, buy another townhome, and financially they moved up from their family living in the trailer park in some little nowhere town in North Carolina, right? But that took a lot of push, a lot of direction. It took one of our teachers having a personal finance class and saying, if you come to the next class, I'll teach you how to invest in stocks. I'll teach you how to buy a house. I'll teach you how to put the down payment together. I'll teach you. And people signed up for it, and they were some of the people who signed up for it. So anyway, 18 to 25, really important. Here's a key. People knock the military, military service, war. 18 to 23, 21. A lot of these guys go in, get their 4 years. If they don't have a girlfriend pregnant or get married, they'll come out and they'll go to college and they'll get $1,500 a month, and they'll have an apartment and a car and kind of just enjoying going to class. They're more serious than the other students. They're more focused. I mean, it's a whole different life, right? You're getting a whole push up in life. And I know family members and other people who got jobs because they were considered a veteran because they did their 4 years. And, it was a job paying $30 an hour. And they needed veterans because they were, basically getting a tax write-off. So 18-25 is really important. If you know somebody in that age and they're young and you want to guide them, if they can just stay out of having kids out of wedlock and honestly not get married in those years, because people get married in those years actually get divorced at higher rates, they're pretty good, right? So what happens? 25, 27, 26 to 35, they wake up, they realize, oh shit, I've got 30,000 in credit card debt. I got 30,000 in student loan debt. I can't afford a house. I can't afford to get married. I can't afford a kid. There's a pressure that happens in that time frame where they realize something must change. And they're already getting tired of work or the the BS of office corporate America. Read article after article about 30-year-old women burning out. They're doing all this stuff in high school. They're doing all this stuff in college. They're doing sororities. They're doing social work. They're doing jobs. Then they go into workforce and they get to 30 and they're like, what the crap? I don't want to do this. I want to go get married and have kids, right? So a lot of that's happening as well, okay? 35 to 55. It's too late. It's not too late. It's never too late. And that's the point of my video. But 35 to 55, costs go up. Costs of living go up. They have to get a bigger house, a bigger car, kids, college, paying for kids' college. Your parents get sick. So 55 to 65, you're just holding on. And a lot of people, the newly unemployed, are 45 to 55. Now, what's also important at 40 to 48? That's the average age of people, entrepreneurs, starting businesses. Why? Because they've been in corporate America long enough to know they're aging out. And if they don't have a secure position in that company, they're out of the door. So they create something for themselves. Now, look, you're going to say, Erica, but what about that 24% that breaks out? What about that 6% that breaks out? It's true. There's a possibility. But let me tell you what on average happens. I know 50-year-old dudes who were like, well, I'm doing better than my brother and sister. I actually looked up their brother and sister. Their sister has a bunch of kids, been on welfare her whole life, bouncing around, moving around, no direction. Their brother's in and out of jail. So just them having a job in a place was enough for them to sit there with their head up high, like I'm doing better than them. And that's what people do. They look around at their mom and their siblings and they go, well, I'm doing better than them. But are you doing the best that you can do? That's the key. Are you living to 100% of your potential? Are you surrounding yourself with people who can help you push to that potential? I love when people call me about tax liens when it's tax refund time. I love when people call me about buying real estate when it's tax refund time, because at least they know I got to do something smarter with this money. Do they do something? Maybe, maybe not. But I'm hoping you do, because guess what? It won't change. I'm telling you, I have too many friends in HR who will look at resumes and people will be somewhere for 10 years and they'll ask them, why did you work there at that job for 10 years? And the people are just like, I don't know. Right? So if you don't push out of there and change jobs and change careers and really get a leg up, you'll be in those same spots over and over. Now, here's the 7 income streams that go with, Erica, I hear what you're saying, and I want to get out. I want to be out of the middle class, or I want to be out of poverty. Because let's keep it real. I know people who, Parent had a stroke. They're driving a Cadillac. Their mom's driving a Cadillac. Dad needs diapers, adult diapers and other supplies. And they had to come to my family and ask could they borrow some funds and borrow some care and some diapers. And my aunt literally wanted to go, how about you sell that Cadillac and your mom sells her brand new Cadillac and then y'all can afford to eat and have your stuff you need. So it's just because you see nice cars, and if you're in any kind of credit group, you'll see people upside down in cars, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, because they wanted that truck or they wanted that Dodge Charger, they wanted that whatever, and they weren't willing to go. Well, that's just number wise, that's silly to be paying $500 to $800 in car payments to pay back all this other debt you rolled into. But anyway, back to what I was going to say. There's 7 income streams. Earned income credit is 1, working a job. 2, profit, income from buying or selling. Amazon, you buy cars, you buy houses, moving and selling them. Interest income, money you get from lending money. And that's why I'm part of Lending Club. $25 note, have several notes. I got about 13% coming back on that account. And that's just money making money. Me not having to touch it. Dividend income, income from owning stocks. I go through Robinhood app. No commission. I send over money now. They let me know when I get dividends coming out of my stocks. It's a great thing. I also have E-Trade. Rental income, income from renting a house. This is very popular, even though people hate it the most. They don't want to be a landlord. Oh, Eric, I don't want to be bothered with toilets. You don't have to. That's what management companies are for. Okay. Like you manage the management company. But there are many military people who buy house after house at different duty stations and then rent them all out. 10 years later, they get out of the military, they got rental property, they got GI Bill access, and they're going to have a great life. All right, 6, capital gains. Assets increasing in value. Now, if you're in Austin, Texas, there's some people who bought a house 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 8 years ago, and it's now they can turn around and sell it for $150,000 to $300,000 more than what they bought it for. That's capital gains, and they will be taxed unless they roll it into another property. Okay, so royalty, income from others using your ideal. Think about it. Franchises, you buy a book, or licensing different products, or your t-shirts, you go and have t-shirt ideals and you sell them, etc. The list can go on and on. Now, school only teaches you how to make money from a job. So think about it. The other 6 actually work for you. The other 6 make you money. The other 6 actually change your life. Where do you need to be focused? Right? Like that needs to be your whole focus, is how can I grow those 6 streams? Now you're going to say, Erica, those too many equations. Here, let's keep it simple. I put $25, I actually do 100 a week, but let's just say I put $25 a week into Lending Club and I buy a note every week. At the end of the year, I'll have 52 notes. I go to any bank and say, I've got 52 notes in Lending Club and my average returns are 13%. It's very impressive. Now, at the end of the day, you may say, well, that's only like a couple of $1,000. That's only $1,200. Yeah. We know that, right? We know that. But it's the act of doing. And if you don't ever do, you'll never get there, right? So that's a simple one. All right. Let's say we put $5 to $25 an additional a week towards a particular stock we like. That'll pay back us dividends. So you're saying, Erica, well, that's only giving me 10 to 20 cents. Well, we're doing it every week. Let's use a Robinhood app. No commission charge. And it builds. We just let it build. And now there's a thing. When I used to work at Lowe's, there was a guy, he actually had $1 million in his retirement. And he's running around, blah, 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 blah. He actually had $3 million. It was kind of crazy. And he was running around talking, but then Lowe's divided. The stock chopped in the third. And so he went from being a $3 millionaire to a $1 millionaire. And he got a little quiet. Now, here's the difference. Here's why this is important. Lowe's started making people do it on purpose. They started making you go 6% in, right? And they match you 6%. So you had people been working for 10 years at Lowe's, 10, 12 years, not investing, not really thinking about it. Then look up and go, oh my God, I've got $50,000. I got $70,000. I got a bunch of thousands of dollars there. I could take that money and do something with it. And that's how it works, because a lot of people are going to go to work. If you're watching this channel, you're most likely going to buy real estate. You're going to do something different. But, the difference in the guy or girl who just is going to work, but at least if they're investing their money somewhere, I would feel a lot better. Again, I even tell you guys about buying one house a year. Now, what do I mean by that? So Kansas City, Indianapolis, parts of Atlanta, and some other places, they have these turnkey properties for about $40,000 to $60,000, right? And you're going to rent them out from $670 to about $850 a month. Property management company probably takes $100 off the top. So your mortgage is going to be like $130. It's going to be dirt cheap if that. So a lot of times people will put 10 grand down to 12 grand down. Now they got a property bringing in $800 every month. Now you may say, Eric, I don't have 10 grand. A lot of times you do. If you look around at the cars you had, all the extra stuff in your house, and also people would get $5,000 tax returns. I hear it all the time. I used to work at H&R Block. Credit cards. I know people with personal credit cards. They say, I don't have any money. You have a $25,000 credit card. If you're going to invest in business, invest in business. But, that's neither here nor there. There's many ways to get business line of credit. You can call me and talk to me. Hit the links below. We already know how to do this. But at the end of the day, if you're serious, if you're saying, Erica, you're right. I look around, and if somebody dies, if your mom dies tomorrow, who's going to pay for her to bury her? And people are going on GoFundMe. That's a depressing thing. That's a sad thing. You cannot even take care of your family for 30, 40 bucks a month. Some things are just the basics. So some things to me, when people say, we're not poor, yeah, you are. You just don't know it. Okay. I remember the book I always recommend to you guys is How to Get Rich. Dennis Lennox wrote it. He just died recently, but he was a billionaire in London. He had a magazine company. He was like 2 to 5 million, you're comfortably poor. And I was like, oh my God, 2 to 5 mil? And then I thought about it. If people have a lot of that money tied up in a house, tied up in cars, tied up in a few different assets, and one of them gets sick or have a massive heart attack or has a massive stroke or something tragic happens to their whole family, they might have to sell all those assets. I know people here in Austin with homes that are like, this home's worth $1 million. And I'm like, but are you worth $1 million? Like, you're paying on this house, but if something happens tomorrow, you might have to sell this whole house, right? So if you're watching this video, I want you to find something this year, pick something, whether it's lending club, peer-to-peer lending, REITs from stocks, which is real estate investment, or just something that you can do that's in your realm. I even have a class coming up. We're putting together, me and Esther and a few other people. It's lots to massive cash flow. And I just talk about how my family has, different lots, and then they put several trailers on them and it's cash flowing, or, just different ways to make money off the land. I'm here in Texas, Austin, Texas, and there are wineries up and down this one road where they only own like two acres. But they have enough space to put a building and a parking lot. The grapes aren't even grown there. There are other places. There's places in Wimberley where they just have 1 or 2 acres, and they've got cabins on them. I mean, there's a ton of stuff I give away in this course, and it'll be coming up, and I'll share it everywhere. We'll talk about it. But like, I'm really going to break it down for you, where I sit and have these conversations with people from the Chamber of Commerce, real estate agents, real estate investors, and talk with people. And I can tell you, you don't have to go crazy with the ideal. Just start with 1 acre and build on it. So look, the choice is yours, the freedom is yours, but the numbers are the numbers. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. 70% of people who are born in lower income families will stay lower income. And again, if you watch any of my other videos, I talk about my friends from my military town who, at the end of the day, you thought, well, his Asian mom's at the flea market. Oh, that's cute on the weekends. Or his Asian mom has a dry cleaner. Oh, that's cute. Guess what? When he turned 18 and left high school, yeah, their Asian moms had $20,000 credit cards to help them get started. And those kids never went and looked for jobs. They did eBay, they did Amazon, they did Craigslist, they sold things. I have a Black friend who also did this, and he's never had a job. And he's 27, and now he's doing Amazon FBA. But what's funny is people are like, are you ever going to get a job? And this guy's like, I have a car, I have a house, I have stuff. Like, what do you mean? Like, I have things. Like, there's results. You can see the results. I'm not selling drugs. I'm actually an online person. So depending on your family, some people are like, when you gonna get a job? You just don't know. And so these Asian kids and these immigrant kids and these people parents have already set them up. So when they leave high school, they're not in a beggar's position. They're not in a begging position. They can go to school I remember I had a friend go to school for, I think, 5 years. for the grad school part. Like she was doing a dissertation or something. Like it was a doctorate. And everybody was like, hey man, how much student loan debt you have? She's like, I don't have any. My dad's been paying my bills and I do scholarships. And it was like mind blown for everybody in the room. And it was kind of funny to me, but it was like, that's awesome. That's freaking awesome that she has that family that can do that for her. But can you do that for your kids? Can you do that for your cousins, brother, sister? Can you help them start a business? These are very important questions. So it's been a little bit longer than I thought it was going to be. So I'm wrapping this up. You guys have an awesome night. Again, you want to talk to me, you want to hit me up, talk about tax liens. It's that time of year. I already have clients. I'm working with about 3 clients right now, finishing up tax liens. So don't be a stranger. Hit me below. You guys have a great night.